Clouds TV, empowering lives.
Mr. President, here I come in peace. I am Apostle Ndura Waruinge. I know you know me, and I've been speaking to you. Though a few months or a few days, couple of days, I've not been doing these addresses to you. Not because I lacked materials to do so, but I chose first to see what is happening, what is going on. As a man of God, I went to the mountains to pray and see the direction of this nation. Mr. President, you are coming into power. You remember very well, at Bomas, you said you are prayed to power. Meaning people sacrificed. People went to the mountains. People went to churches. People fasted. People cried to God to find you or to make you a president. This is a prayer that was answered. You said so. It was an answered prayers. Many men, women of God, at current State House, they gathered. You had a chapel, a sanctuary, where every morning you went to cry to God. You spoke to God. You listened with God. And we were able to convince God to make you become a president. I personally, I was one of the people that were supporting you and voted for you. Many more voted for you and they supported you, not because you were a Kalenjin, but because you spoke the language that the Kenyans wanted. You spoke the language of Mama Mboga. You spoke the language of the border borders. You spoke the language of the downtrodden. You spoke the languages of the people in Rwanda. You spoke the language of the people in Muthaiga. You spoke the language of a Kalenjin. You spoke the language of a Kikuyu. You spoke the language of a Kisi, of a Luo, of a coastman, of a northeastern, of a Garissa. Every language and every what people expected that can be spoken to by a leader they wanted. You spoke it. You were very, very smart. You are able to convince everybody that you are a good man and you are capable of changing this nation. We were tired. When we came to you, we were all tired of the dynasties. We were fighting the dynasties. We are fighting the Kenyattas, the Mois, the Ogingas. This is what we really wanted to go down. We didn't hate them. We were not doing all these things because of hate. We were doing these things because we wanted at least a break from the dynasties, the Kenyattas, the Ogingas, the Mois, the Ngalas of this nation. It is not because we hated them, because we never hated them, but we wanted to have a change, that we have a son of a peasant can rise up so that equality can be generated throughout the nation. We hoped you will continue where Kibaki left. The only president who was a real hustler, who changed the fortunes of millions of Kenyans, who made places that were not existing to be existing and to be productive, who opened up Nairobi, Kenya, and everywhere. The president that built roads all over the country, towns were created. The bypasses came to build other cities, small cities, all along the bypasses. If you go to the eastern bypass, northern bypass, southern bypasses, there were no towns. There were no Kamakis. There were no Utawala. There was nothing like those things. But now look, it is all over. Nairobi has spread up to Murang'a, up to Kajiado, up to Naivasha, up to Mombasa Road, all the way to Machakos, to Kansas City. He opened up. He never looked to see whether this was a Kalenjin land or a Kikuyu land. He did roads in Kisumu. He did roads in Eldoret. He did roads in all the way from Nairobi all the way to Turkana. Tarmac, nice tarmac, all the way to Marsabit, all the way to Moyale, connecting to Ethiopia. It was a milestone. Then when Uhuru came, he came to continue with what Kibaki had started. Unfortunately, he was unable to do exactly or to do better than Kibaki because Kibaki was arrogantly. He meant what he wanted. He came in the office in the prefix of making Kenya great again. Indeed, Kibaki was. He never created a new blueprint of this nation. He went to the archives in the Ministry of Planning and retrieved files that had demarcations of what he did. Demarcations of the bypasses, the roads, the airport, and everything. 1948, they were already created. And this is what Kibaki did. So there is no new thing he did. He only retrieved files that were hidden, files that were just left in the dust. And Kenya was a different nation again. After Uhuru, we thought of having you as the president, a young, dynamic president, a person who was not tribal, a person we thought will be the pillar of this nation, what this nation needed. We thought it was you. We thought Kenya was very mature for a person like you who can come with agility, with power, with zeal to transform every sector. Because we saw it, Kibaki had laid the infrastructure that Uhuru came to continue. Now that we had the infrastructure, Uhuru just made it workable. It was for you, as we thought, to implement everything so that Kenya can become. Yes, indeed, you have spoken about Singapore. You have spoken about going to Kanani, just from Baba and whatever it is. But there is one mistake you're making. Singapore was never constructed, or Singapore never became what it is until, first of all, the president, the leader, the initial leader, who had the idea of Singapore, making Singapore what it is today, he instructed the entire nation to surrender whatever they had gotten, not rightfully. Himself, he surrendered everything. Himself, any riches that he had that did not belong to his line of work, line of hard working, he surrendered. He stopped corruption completely from himself. He started by himself. He went and looked around and saw, yes, I am rich, but how did I acquire these things? He surrendered them back to build a nation that now everybody admires. That is how to build Singapore. That is how to make Singapore great again, by stripping everything that does not belong to you as a lead, so that any other people will follow suit. And we are ready for that. If you can do this radical surgery in this Kenya by starting with yourself, then we go down. We get all your people, your peers, and the people that have plundered this nation for quite a long time. We change them. We speak to them. Mr. President, instead of doing all these things that you promised us, you have missed the track. And you started losing the track when you chased your deputy, Rigathi Gachagua. Not because of his incompetence, not because he was a bad man, not because he had done anything against the law of this nation, but because you too knew what you are fighting for. But you just chose you two to bring your dirty linens to your tribal cocoons. When Rigathi and you fought over what you are doing under the carpets, because you do, you know, it is about businesses, it's about monies, it's about corruption. You guy, you are fighting over a system that we don't want in this nation. And when one outsmarted the other one, and because you are in power, you are able to outsmart Rigathi. But unfortunately, again, Rigathi went out there, he has outsmarted you. He is revealing everything that you are secretly doing together. That is why Kikuyus are looking at Rigathi as a hero, and the Kalenjins would want to look at you as a hero. But you two are not heroes. You are failures. You have failed this nation. You have failed in the promises that you promised us. Rigathi went to the Kikuyu land and called upon every Kikuyu member, Central, Mount Kenya, and the people voted for you. For the first time, overwhelmingly, and then Kikuyu was selected, elected, voted for. We supported you. We loved you. We really saw that indeed Kenya will be great again. Unfortunately, the same people that put you on that position that you are in today, you have sent your henchmen, Murkomen, Sudi, and many other, and even Omar Hassan, to profile them for the slaughter. You want to kill them. You want to destroy them. The people who loved you, the people who woke early in the morning to go and vote for you. Providing a Kikuyu is like providing a stone that will not hear you. A stone that will be left there and it will not even know that it was provided. Trying to profile a Kikuyu is the greatest mistake that you are doing. Don't try this. It will hurt you. It will completely. Let me tell you, the white men, Akina Lord Daramea, Rugard, and many, many more, were here in this country. They profiled the Kikuyu, that he is a demon, that is a bad person, that they are doing things, they are gorillas, they are bad, they are mau-maus, they need to be eliminated. They tried every single trick. It didn't work. It refused completely. It didn't work. Then came the Jaramogis and the Kinyaras. They tried, it failed. Then came Moi, 24 years. He tried to destroy the coffee, the tea sector, the Kikuyu businesses, and many more things. It didn't work. We had even tribal clashes. We were sent to parking in Orenguroni, in Kirenget, in Tamiyota, in Mochorwe, in Kiambereria, in Eldoret. But all this didn't work. You can never fight a Kikuyu and win a battle. Don't be cheated by whoever that will be lying to you, that by profiling a Kikuyu or the Kikuyus, or trying to cause the eastern Mount Kenya people versus the western mountain Kenya, that you can win this battle. These people, they don't have any limitation to what if they imagine to say or to do. If they will decide to do something, remember the days of Matiba, remember the days of Kibaki. They will spend every bit of a coin to make sure you are defeated. They will fight you. They will destroy you. They will destroy even the henchmen, trying to invoke the name of Uhuru Kenyatta, to drag his name so that it can be seen like Uhuru is fighting you. Uhuru is a president, a former president, and he has every legal right to participate in the politics of Kenya. I saw Obama campaigning openly against Trump. Openly. He issued statements. He spoke openly. And many more people, they do so. That is a legal right. He has. He's a Kenyan. Despite that he is a former president, he has the right to support whatever he wants to support. He has a right to exist. He has a right to expression. That is our legal right. That is a right, a human right for that matter. Don't try. Don't dare what you're trying to do. They are lying to you. They are cheating you. They are just misleading you. These people, they will cause you to be a one-term president. I will not want to imagine that, but they are the one who have generated this one-term president because of various mistakes. Gachagua was not your enemy. He was your friend. But because you have Akina Murkomen, Akina Farouk, Akina, your henchmen who didn't want this man to be there because they were stealing. And he was also stealing. And when they will go stealing, they will meet there. And one would have stolen ahead of the other one. And that is how the enmity was created. And that's why the fight against Gachagua was initiated. It was not initiated out of goodwill. It was initiated because somebody, maybe Gachagua was smarter than them, or them was smarter than Gachagua. That's the whole matter. And that is how it ends. Mr. President, don't try profiling the Kikuyus. They will fight you. They will come. Kikuyus are like a cat. You lock a cat inside the house, thinking you can kill it. It will kill you because it will fight. They will fight. They will fight to the bitter end. Kenya is a bigger nation. Every person is smaller than Kenya. We have Kalenjins living in Mombasa, Turukana, all over this country. Kikuyu is the same. Kisii is the same. Luo is the same. All these people, we are brothers. We are sisters. Despite that the fact the Kikuyus went to the bush to fight for the freedom of this nation, also we had some people like Tomboya, we have people like Erote Okire from Turukana who also fought for the freedom. This freedom was never fought for one tribe. It was fought for everybody. But though there were people who were leading, but everybody was supposed to benefit from the sweat, from the blood of these Mau Mau people, of these people who fought for the freedom, of these people who did whatever they did. So therefore, Mr. President, as much as you want to make Kenya Singapore, as much as you're doing the housing projects, as much as you're doing the SHA, as much as doing everything you are doing, please, the complaints are too many. Sit down, find some time. I know you're a busy man, but find some time to look for the reality. Just sit down somewhere. Concentrate on the reality. Ask yourself questions. Even if Kikuyus are fighting me, could it be they have a reason behind fighting me? Could it be there is something that is causing this thing to happen? What is their basis of fighting you? Could you find? Find out. Speak. You're a good man you're clever. You can't speak to many people. You have a way of conducting. You have a way of relating with people. Just try to ask, why is it all of a sudden everybody is calling you Kasongo? Everybody, wherever you go, they say one time. Could it be their reason? There must be a reason. Kenyan people are not mad people. They're smart. And you know, we are respected worldwide as very smart people. They can't just stand up and say, you must go without a reason. There is a reason. Try to find out that reason. Reason up with people. People like these guys, the Matatu guys who went on strike. Could you have been involved in the strike? Was it your plan to do the strike? Then to blame it on the Kikuyu community and say that one community was one that had initiated the strike, the Matatu industry strike? Could it be it is your people who did it, but they kept it away from you from knowing that it is them who planned for the strike? The strike was not a genuine strike. It was a strike orchestrated to cause some sort of profiling. This thing you are building, remember, when you live in a glass house, be the last person to throw a stone. Please, Mr. President, be that good person. Respect the Kikuyus. Walk along with the Kikuyus. The way you go to the Kikuyu land and say you love them more than Yagosho, Muriega. All these languages you go to speak to them, make it realistic. Remember, let me caution you why a Kikuyu will never lose. A Kikuyu was faced by a Mzungu. Colonials. They were taken to camps. They were slaughtered. Their wives were raped. Many things happened to them. There is one thing Kikuyus did. They resorted back to their God. If you can look of recently, Kikuyus are moving back to their God. This God of Kikuyus, he's quick to act on whatever these guys they ask for. Muzungu was defeated unbelievably. The first ever armed struggle for the liberation of this country in Africa, it was initiated by these people. They lifted their hands, they faced Mount Kenya, and the things were never the same again. Stop what you're trying to do. It won't work good for you. It will hurt you. It will hurt everybody. Again, there is another thing I want you to go and check, because I know you're a spiritual man. Go and check, why is your tongue so used to 6 months, 600 million, 60 million, 6 billion, 6 months? Why 6, 6, 6? Could you have been recruited into something else without your knowledge? Could you be doing something that is completely demonic? Could it be there is somebody who did something wrong? Number 3, if you can be able to do it now. Stop this thing with the ODM, political parties. Build your name without a political party. Build. When Kibaki came to power, he built a name without political party. Until today, we never recall, nobody remembers the party of Kibaki, but we remember Kibaki. Rise up to the statesman, become a statesman. Bring all the people of this country together. Bring the elders of Kikuyu, the Kalenjins, and everybody, the people from the coast, the people from Northeast, and bring them together. Call the elders together. Don't call the Wakorinos. Don't call these small Kikuyus, Akina Karangos and the rest. Don't. They just can't help you. They are not helping you. Bringing people to State House does not help you. But become a father to the nation. Yes, you have enemies, people are fighting you. There is nobody, even God is fought. We have devil worshippers. Devil worshippers are against God. You are not special. You are an ordinary human being. You will be fought by your peers. You will be fought by your people. Don't fight these people. Bring all people together. They will love you. They will give you votes if they want. They will deny you vote if they want. What God has chosen, nobody can say no to it. If you are a God chosen, you remain like so. If you are not, even if you profile Kikuyu community, look now, the other day I saw people in Mombasa saying Mombasa, Pwani si Kenya. Again, very soon, you'll hear Museveni saying that some parts of Kenya is not Kenya. The Somalis who come and say some part of Kenya is not Kenya. The Ethiopian, the Sudanese who do the same. You would have destroyed this nation. You're a young person who might go down very unpopular. Very unpopular. Don't do what you're doing. Mr. President, find solace with God. Go and seek. Have like 7 days of prayers. Get out of the limelight. Don't fight for yourself. Don't go trying to prove to people who are not worthy your proof. Don't prove anything. Just do what is meant of you. Don't force things to work. Don't build imaginary roads. Don't build projects in 6 months. There is no project that can be done in 6 months, not unless you're building your son's a small cube for 6 months. You are talking of roads, you are talking of airports, you are talking of schools, you are talking of many things. 6 months. It is not tenable. Please, Mr. President, look at the bombers. You had purpose to be done in 6 months so that you have this conference that happened the other day. It was not possible. You have extended the Talanta Stadium. It was not possible. 6 months were not possible. 6 months cannot work. Of the President Macron, please, there are so many scandals happening. Kenya is not a French nation. We will not and we shall never entertain anything Francophone. Nobody will be, nobody. Those people have never developed anything anywhere. They are just there to destroy, to plunder economies, and to bring down. We will not allow them. We will not. We will rise against them. We will stop anything that they're trying to do. Even the masters, the United Kingdom, the English people, they also know Kenya as a resilient nation. They can't just joke with this nation. The journey of Kazakhstan, I don't know what we went to do there. I heard Rigathi saying that you are being massaged. But though, I was hesitant to buy that idea because I saw you are with your wife. I don't know how, and I can't believe that Rachel can just watch as those things are happening. That one is ish. I don't know. But in the private jet, when people are suffering this nation and the fuel crisis, you need to change. My brother, change before change changes you. Soon, very soon, Mr. President, things will be hot potato for you to handle. Handle this situation of fuel, mafuta fuel. Tell us who is Galana, Gav, and what is your interest in it? Is it, tell us, be truthful, man. Tell us whether it is G to G or it is Galana, Gav, because Galana is G, Gav is G, and also we have the other G from Saudi Arabia. Could it be it is G to G, Galana, and Gav, then the other government? Meaning, this is the government, Galana is the government, and the Gav is the government. Then the other side is the government. Who is fooling who? Who is fooling who? Mr. President, work it very fast. In fact, work it very fast before the end of the grace period. The grace period is coming soon than you think. It's ending soon than you think. And things will be bad. You will not be able to contain strikes. Remember of El Bashir, a small girl. El Bashir was being sought by ICC. He would brag, he would go to South Africa and brag. He would come to Kenya and brag. But one little girl, she went to the supermarket to buy a bread. She could not afford to buy the bread because the bread was expensive. She stood on top of a pickup, shouted, and that was the end of El Bashir. Until today, El Bashir is languishing in jail. I don't know whether he's alive, but he's languishing in the jails. I want to end it there, but it's a warning. I'm warning you with a prophetic warning. Mene, mene, tekel. God bless you.
Bethel Clouds TV, empowering lives.